it is never lost on me how difficult it is to get around Los Angeles and Pasadena, and that everywhere is a destination. So thank you for whatever you braved tonight to get here. It means a lot to us to come and support our new exhibition openings and then also go out and evangelize on behalf of them. I have to say before we get started that I am taken all the way back to a conversation that I had with Charles Townley, Dr. Townley, a while ago. And this exhibition would not be possible without his major gift of art, which is, you'll see it in there, it's fantastic. But it takes me back to a conversation that him and I had about a scholar garden and how the courtyard could be reimagined. And it was the first time that somebody had given me a metaphor to explain what a university museum does. And he took me back to the literati and said, they organize these spaces just like you're looking at now with scholar rocks and trees and company, entry lions everywhere, food dogs everywhere. And they opened up these spaces so that scholars could come in and intermingle. And the things that they did together is they would use art, and it became the highest form of scholarship. They painted, they drew, they were inspired by each other and by nature, and then they would add poetry to their paintings, and they would add philosophy to their paintings. And it really brought it home for me that that's what a university museum does. It is a watering hole for scholars to come together and share and get inspired, and artists to join and ignite that creativity. And I want to say thank you for that, because I use that metaphor all the time when I'm trying to explain what a university museum does. And you always have the best metaphors for everything, and you have this foresight, which allows you to collect art in the 1990s in China and when things were just opening up, and really have this vision, right, for what things were going to be. And so I want to say thank you for that. And I also want to say that this scholar watering hole has also brought a scholar to us in Danielle Shang. She curated this exhibition, and she's added new scholarship into the canon, into the academy, that places Chinese printmaking into a context where you not only understand life and art making practices there, you understand why it's as important as Japanese printmaking. That kind of gets all of the attention. And Danielle, I don't know where you are. There she is over there. She has done, I think we should give her a round of applause. She's done an amazing job. And I think that what she has put into the canon and into the academy about printmaking is going to stand the test of time. But we also have other people here that get to enjoy this. We have the Dean of the Roski School of Art. We've got the Associate Vice Provost of the Arts here to see all of these and then go on behalf of this exhibition and evangelize. To say, and they're going to bring printmaking classes here and bring any people that want to do research on these works come here, right? And so this is the watering hole. This is what we do. And then comes our newest Executive Vice Provost, Dr. Kelvin Davies. He's got more initials and titles after his name than I know what to do with, which means he has probably 10 advanced degrees in things that I don't understand. And I'm okay with that. But I want to tell you who he is, because he is also, he's a knight. He's a knight, you should know that. He was knighted. But as a knight, I want you to know that he also zips around USC's campus on a motorized scooter, which is fantastic to see the knight in shining armor on his electric scooter, which is great. But I also want to say that I really have enjoyed in talking to Vice Provost Davies about the arts and about the museum's place. And he truly understands what a gem we have here at the Pacific Asia Museum and why it's important for the university and the community to come together in communion to support these types of events. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Calvin Davies.
Well, thank you, Bethany, for that somewhat long and extremely embarrassing introduction. As Executive Vice Provost at USC, I'm delighted to have overall responsibility for our Fisher Museum of Art and for the Pacific Asia Museum where we are today. This is definitely one of the most enjoyable aspects of my job. It also allows me to work with our amazing Director of Museums, Bethany Montagano. And those of you who may not have looked at her CV, she talks about mine, should go on the USC website and take a look at all the things she's done in the past, and the fact that she arrived in 2021 in the midst of you-know-what pandemic, and had to deal with closures and everything being quiet, and then having to redo all of the security for both museums, which is almost finished at our main campus. Good. Because we have an opening on September 7th, so it needs to be done, and that's wonderful, and it's all finished here. But she's just done an amazing job so far, and I know she has great things ahead of us. And one of the things that I'm really most happy about is Bethany's vision that I share, which is to bring USC's students and USC's faculty into the museums and into the galleries and make them a part of what's going on and make those galleries a part of the educational process at USC, which I think is a wonderful idea and a wonderful goal. So we're at the Imprinting in Time exhibition. A large majority of the artworks in this exhibition came from USC Pacific Art Museum, permanent collection, with special thanks to Charles Townley, thank you Charles, who recently donated his collection of contemporary Chinese art to the museum. Our guest curator, Danielle Sheng, did an amazing job of creating an exhibition largely from the Townley collection, but also with other pieces from our permanent collection, and we really thank her for doing that again. Thank you so much for putting this together. It's a great job. As a university museum, the Pacific Asia Museum has a special opportunity to embrace scholarship and to push new perspectives that we can share with our university community and supportive local community, all of you. Not only does this exhibition fit well with the work that professors are doing in their classes and in their research, but it embraces current scholarship and expands our perspective in how to see printmaking as it is being used by contemporary artists connecting our present moment with China's past. Of note is Charles Townley's history as a professor and Dean of Library Science and Education Management at New Mexico State University, and also his career and scholarship in China, including a Fulbright scholarship, a fellowship, and an appointment at Beijing University that lasted over many years and enabled him to do all the wonderful work and scholarship and collecting that he's done. They demonstrate his academic credentials and leadership and makes having his collection permanently housed in a university museum especially appropriate and meaningful. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. It's really a pleasure for us to have you here. We hope you'll continue or start, whichever it may be, supporting the museum. It's a wonderful thing to have, and we'd love to have you with us as much as possible. We always need support. Charles pointed out to me as we walked through the door that the gates at the front are not appropriate for this particular institution. So at the very least, we need gates. We need money for new gates. So we'll see what we can get. And I thank you all for coming, and thank you. Enjoy the exhibition. Thank you.
Sorry, it's me again. So Danielle Shang, our scholar, resident scholar here who curated the exhibition, did not want to speak tonight, but if you have a moment to speak with her inside the exhibition, you should. The enthusiasm which she speaks about this scholarship is invigorating, and she's also just a gem of a human, and so I would encourage everyone to speak with her as well as you could. And without further ado, though, I think that we should hear from Mr. Charles Townley.
Thank you very much, Bethany. I'm reminded the provost, I want to thank him for serving for his remarks. And I want to thank Bethany for the remarks. I am a recovering academic administrator and dean, and so I know the drill. Okay. So I probably, not everything here is, these are things that have probably been covered, because when I had that kind of role, I sort of had my elevator speech, you know, could do it in just a moment. But I do have an important announcement tonight. I'm going to make this a little bit personal. I have just received notice today that my last academic paper has been accepted for publication. I will do no more. Okay. All right. I want to thank you all for attending this opening. It's truly gratifying to learn that most of you share one of my true passions. There are a number of people I need to thank for helping bring this exhibit to fruition, especially Danielle Zhang and Rebecca Hall and Peter Land. I also want to express personal appreciation to Selma Holo, who, like me, is a recovering academic administrator, and who accepted this collection on behalf of the University of Southern California. And I want to thank Bethany for your director for approving this exhibit. You know, nobody said she had to do it. She just decided it was an important thing to do. And there are a number of other people that I need to thank. Is Deborah Renge here? Okay. One of my colleagues from New Mexico State said that she was going to be here if conditions permitted. I want to thank her because she did a very important job, which was to do an objective appraisal of the collection before it came. You know, so I wanted to thank her. And finally, I want to thank Victor Roberts, my partner, for his patience and support throughout this process. Okay. Now, I do not claim to have any scholarly expertise in art or art criticism. I am a social scientist who directed university libraries and taught leadership and higher education management during my career. Along the way, I had the good fortune to receive several Fulbright senior lectureships and serve as a visiting professor at Beijing Normal University. While in China, I became fascinated with the interaction between contemporary art and Chinese society as a social scientist. I collected work in this area with the help of leading galleries in Beijing and Shanghai. They were starting about the same time that I started going to China. This exhibit, Imprinting in Time, tells the story of Chinese printmaking and its related fields over the last 40 years. Danielle and Peter have worked with Rebecca to create a wonderful exhibit describing artistic directions and trends. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. For my part, I also hope that you will look for the social and political messages that are embedded in most of this work. I have a few slides of works in the exhibit that I want to share with you. Now, can everyone see this clearly? Okay. The first work in the exhibit, Good Morning, Teacher Zhang, is one that I haven't given to the museum yet because I love it so much. I want you to ask, what does it say about how education is valued in China? I love, if you're an academic and have the opportunity to teach in China, do it, because it will build your ego like nothing you've ever seen. some of my former students regularly, I meet them regularly when I go to China. They call themselves Townley's children. Isn't that neat? And the last time we went, Victor and I could barely walk across the street without one of them getting his car out or taking us to a thermal bath or whatever. It's really ego building. But what does it say about how education is valued in China compared with education in the West? Now, 2 more slides, okay, illustrate how Xuesong and Zhouzhirang compare current and traditional images of society using the shape of a Coke bottle, you'll see that, and a sweatsuit and Adidas. What do you make of it? And finally, here are 2 slides of work by Tan Ping and Yu Yohan. Do you consider them Chinese or global artists? Are they painting Chinese art or are they painting global art? And why? Questions like these guided my acquisitions over the years. You will find many more social and political questions scattered throughout this exhibit, including some paintings that are displayed in the permanent galleries, okay? And there's one there that I really love. It's a diptych by Four Finger Jean, okay? He cut off his little finger to protest Tiananmen in 1989. And I won't make the rude gesture, but when people in China see this, they think of something with the middle digit to the government. And it's a diptych. So there's one with the hand in it, and the other one's a very pedestrian painting of Tiananmen Square. However you begin to look at it, you realize, if you know the orientation, that it's a sunset. And in the sunset are storm clouds. And there are, the Tiananmen gate is there, but emphasized are some light standards. And what's on the light standards? Cameras. And what else is on there? Speakers. So what's going on? And what is the danger in that particular expression of a painting? Okay, enough of this. See if you can't tease a few of these out tonight as you go through the exhibit. They're in most of the work. And I want to again thank everyone for showing an interest in this body of work. I deeply appreciate your interest in my passion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles, for choosing us. We'll take good care of your art. Always, forever, it's in perpetuity. He said, I hope so.
And he'll hold you to it.
I know he will. And if you guys take a moment to also meet Charles's partner, Victor, who's doing some videotaping here. He's one of my favorite humans, so funny. We just spent a couple minutes talking about what shows we were watching. I mean, what a breath of fresh air. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate it. But I wanted to say really in closing that our greatest resource here is our staff. And this is never lost on me what it takes to put together an exhibition and put up an exhibition and then program an exhibition and then have school tours go through the exhibition and do the outreach, right? We have an amazing staff who shows up all the time and gives 100% to every single thing that they do. So I really want to show my deep appreciation for what you guys do, seen and unseen, and just say that I adore all of you. You know that, and thank you. Go enjoy the exhibit. Thank you.